We are here next to a house of a terrorist. His house is right next to a school. Next to his house, there is a tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. This is Rantisi hospital, and this is the place where I showed you the tunnel. Hamas used this hospital. Let's enter into the hospital. And I'm showing you the first evidence to see. I want to show you a room where we found the operational gear of Hamas. These are explosives. We have hand grenades, Kalashnikov, and then we have the RPGs. The motorcycle. They were all used in the massacre of the 7th of October. You're now entering into the room where we suspect the hostages were being held. There is a list. This list says the operation against Israel. This is a guardian list, and every territory has his own chief guarding the people that were here. The world has to understand who is Israel fighting against.
What you just saw is a bombshell of a video. It's been released by Israel. The idea is to show how Hamas used a hospital, a children's hospital in Gaza, to stock weapons and hide hostages. The video, as you saw, features an Israeli soldier. He's giving the world a tour of a tunnel allegedly built by Hamas. Israel says this tunnel is connected to a hospital. Israeli forces raided it. They say they found guns and ammunition, hand grenades, as well as RPGs or rocket-propelled grenades. Israel also says hostages were being held here. Take a look at this.
A woman, clothes, and a rope. A rope next to the legs. And look above this. Look above it. It's a baby bottle. It's a baby bottle in a basement. Above a World Health Organization sign. This is a suspicion for an area where hostages were being held.
The war is taking an ugly turn. It is being fought inside hospitals. The charge against Hamas is this: they use hospitals, schools, even amusement parks to build military installations. Their tunnels run under civilian infrastructure, so Israel is bombing them in a bid to demolish Hamas. The attacks on hospitals have led to a lot of outrage. The images of patients dying due to power cuts have shocked the world. So Israel has started releasing videos to show what it's up against, to prove that Hamas is using innocent civilians as human shields. This latest video has triggered a lot of reactions. Israel says it was shot in a tunnel under the Rantisi Children's Hospital. Critics say it's an unverified claim. The video itself does not show where the tunnel opens up or how it leads up to the hospital. Israel says this tunnel is near a school and near the house of a senior Hamas official. Watch this.
I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to a house of a terrorist. This is one of the senior terrorists who is the head of the operational naval operations that led the raids into Israel. His house is right next to a school. His house is 200 yards from the hospital of Rantisi. Next to his house, there is a tunnel.
In the next part of the video, it's like a guided tour. The soldier says the tunnel is connected to the hospital. He shows military gear inside, guns, explosives, explosive vests, laptops. There's a bike as well, apparently used during the October 7th attacks. The soldier points to some marks on the bike. He says these are bullet marks. And in the final part of the video, he takes us to a different section of the tunnel. He says hostages were held here.
Into the room where we suspect the hostages were being held. I want you to look at this room. People are putting curtains with nothing above, just wall. No reason to put here a curtain unless you want to film hostages and deliver movies.
So is this video a smoking gun or a piece of propaganda? The answer depends on who you ask. It's been doing the rounds on social media, evoking strong responses. Supporters of Israel see this as justification for the hospital attacks. Critics say it is full of glaring mistakes. Like this page on the wall. The soldier said it's a duty chart of Hamas terrorists. But critics say it's just a calendar, although it does not take away from the fact that Hamas facilities are embedded in civilian areas. And at this point, it's really impossible to independently verify each and every claim. But what's clear is this: hospitals in Gaza have become battlegrounds and patients are cannon fodder. Yesterday, we told you about the Shifa hospital, Gaza's largest hospital. It remains shut. There is no electricity. Israel says they offered fuel for the generators, but Hamas refused. Now, Israeli forces have surrounded the hospital. There are tanks and armored vehicles outside and snipers in the vicinity. The hospital staff is appealing for help. They want a safe passage out for patients. The supplies are running out. The death toll is climbing. 39 patients have died so far due to the shortages. This includes 6 children. Gaza's health ministry says all hospitals in North Gaza are out of service. Yesterday, the United States tried to intervene. They demanded longer pauses in the fighting. President Biden weighed in too. He said Israel should protect the Al-Shifa hospital.
And it's my hope and expectation that there will be less intrusive action relative to the hospital. We're in contact and we're with the Israelis.
The pressure on Israel is mounting. Their foreign minister says Israel's diplomatic window is shrinking as calls for a ceasefire grow. For Biden, too, things are getting out of hand. The conflict is widening. Yesterday, the U.S. conducted more airstrikes in Syria. They killed 8 Iranian proxies. This is America's 3rd attack in less than 3 weeks. U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq have come under attack. American bases have been targeted. Since early October, the U.S. and allied forces have faced at least 40 attacks, both in Syria and Iraq. So America is responding with precision strikes and sending out a warning to Tehran.
These attacks must stop. And if they don't stop, then we won't hesitate to do what's necessary, again, to protect our troops.
The conflict is spreading to Lebanon as well. Israel and Hezbollah are trading fire again. Yesterday, there were fresh missile attacks conducted by Israeli forces. They struck South Lebanon. At least 2 people died. A reporter at the border captured the strikes on camera.
نهار البارحة وحتى الساعة متأخرة من الليل أنتقل بالصورة طبعا هنا نصبح قبالة
يبدو بأنه تم التعرض للزملاء المتواجدين في
نعم بالفعل شادي
في يارون وهم على الهواء مباشرة يعني واضح بأنه تم على ما يبدو.
So far, more than 70 Hezbollah fighters, 7 Israeli troops and over 10 civilians have died. The casualties in Gaza are far greater, but the worst may be yet to come.